This is probably the last channel where you thought you might find a subwoofer install, especially in an E46 sedan. However, even though putting this in this car goes against pretty much everything I stand for right now, there's a reason why we're doing this, and we're gonna take a trip down memory lane first.
So this is my speaker setup. I got my speakers even before I got my car, because you know, everyone wants subs when they get their first car. So I lucked out a lot. I got my setup really cheap. These are two Rockford Fosgate P3 12-inch subs. I'm running a 1,000 watt prime R1000 1D amp. I wired everything myself and like it came out super clean. I'm really stoked on it. They're actually like competition subs, so they hit really hard. I don't even like subs. I don't listen to rap music. I listen to lots of screamo. So it's kind of cool. You'll see me going by your house and all you hear is the trunk going brrrr. So, and then they're like, oh, it's Adam. And I'm like, yeah, it's me.
The theme of this car and the whole reason why I built this E46 in the first place, it is a nostalgia lane drive for me every time I drive it. And back when I had this car, I had pretty much this exact same subwoofer set up in the car. It was two Rockford Fosgate 12s in a box, preloaded, slightly different iteration than these, so I still am on the hunt for the same ones that I had. I asked you guys in video how you would want me to document it, because this was something I was just gonna do on the side just to, you know, be all nostalgic and junk, but we're gonna do it together, and I'm gonna try my best to install this exactly as I had it before. Some things are a little ghetto, some things are actually pretty decent for it being, I think this was the first thing I ever did in a car. I think this was the first mod I ever did was install subs. And there's one other thing that I did too that we'll do in the second half of this video, but this is gonna be the fun one. So when I first got my subs, I didn't have much money. I actually found them on Craigslist, and I'm pretty sure they were stolen because back in the day, this setup, I feel like it retailed for like, man, it must have been, it felt like a lot of money at the time. I feel like it must have been over $1,000, maybe it wasn't. But it was like a third of the price and it was brand new. And it was one of those things that if you saw it now, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's definitely a scam. But I met with the dude and it wasn't a scam. It was a brand new subwoofer, brand new amplifier. Made a big deal. My sister thought she was gonna get robbed, but she didn't. We're still here to live and tell the story. And it was always a pain in the ass to get in the car.
Some things never change.
Yeah, and that's why I left him in most of the time. I'm realizing though we have a bigger problem. Off camera, we went ahead and upgraded my sound system to the factory Harman Kardon setup, which adds an amplifier in the rear, changes out the other speakers in the car, and adds these subs back here. However, I don't think I'm gonna be able to have 4 subs in the trunk. Doesn't seem like it's fitting. Either that or the sub box got bigger versus the version that I had. So fingers crossed I can remove these and the box will fit. Otherwise, we don't have a video and you guys are just gonna get filler. Ow. Oh, that sucks. You'll see why as we progress through the install, but this is actually one of the most simple subwoofer installs you will ever find for a few very weird, random reasons. I don't think I had many like good subwoofer stories of like pissing people off on the street or whatsoever. I wasn't even like that guy in the high school parking lot, like making the trunk vibrate. I was a little like self-conscious even then about it. It was more like a personal enjoyment thing, you know? Remember like, what was the band called? The Ghost Inside. They had the craziest bass drops. Yep. That is the only reason why I like the subwoofers, because I listen to heavy music and the bass drops was like, yeah. Chelsea Grin, Woe Is Me. It's gonna be good, dude. We're gonna sit in the car and we're just gonna listen to bass drops in my garage, because, you know, it's...
Why not?
Yeah, well, because it's not driving right now, but don't worry about that. This thing probably weighs 5,000 pounds, probably the worst thing that I could do with my back issues. And it was this tight before.
Hell yeah.
Does it not go deeper? I swear it went deeper. The humps in there, like this is where the install will differ. So before, I had to leave the subs here, if you watch my video, so I had no trunk space, because the ridges of the trunk eat into the floor pan. But now, in addition to knowing how to use tools, I also don't give a f. So I could chisel off the edges of the box and then it will probably slide in.
True, yeah.
I might be adding to the complication of the mods a little bit here, but I think that'll be way nicer.
Yeah,
this is just wood, right?
Yeah, you can't go further than this because then you'll expose the...
But you see, this is the problem. These edges. So if I can measure and if I trim it out and it can fit in between there, that would be so much nicer. This was a huge problem in my childhood. I probably would have turned out to be a way better kid if I did that earlier in my days, because I could have fit more girls' stuff in, but then I wouldn't have found Colette, so. So we're working with, let's say like 30 and a half. And wow, that's not a right measurement. That's 34. There's no chance, bud. No chance. And it doesn't get narrower, right? 30, no way I measured that right. Wow. Yeah, we're I could cut them out. These things are, these aren't gonna last. I don't know, they might last long. It's a car that has a rear seat, so.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where should I start with this? I guess I'll start with this. So this is cool. This is not a product plug. This is actually the replacement for Adam from Poland. So one thing that I'm doing that would be very different from most people installing subwoofers is I'm retaining the factory head unit. So the cool thing about this is back in the day, you were able to get an aux kit from BMW, which gave you a little plug that I installed in here, and you just use an aux cable. Yes, it's a little bit inconvenient with an iPhone.
Pretty much, this is what I'm the most stoked about. I made like a little auxiliary thing for my iPods. You know, I can like listen to my iPod stuff.
But what I found out that you could do when I got a subwoofer, there's these things called line out converters. And basically what it does is it taps into the rear speakers, and then you get your signal for the subwoofers from that, and it converts it to an RCA out, which then you feed to the amplifier. But what's cool about this that I didn't know even exists, for whatever possible magic bullshit type science thing they came up with, they can convert the speaker signals to have a 12 volt out. So this is now the remote turn on for the amplifier. So that means no wires need to be ran from the front of the car. Usually you'd run that from like an ignition source or something. I don't remember if I tapped into a wire in the trunk or if I actually ran it from the front. I think I did run it all the way from a fuse or something. But that simplifies things a lot.
Yeah, that's sick.
Out of curiosity, I wonder if my old remote turn on is still in the car somewhere. It would have been like under the rear seat. Technically, I think heat shrink connectors would be a level up from what I used back in the day. I think back in the day it was probably, you know, the little like spades that you don't even like put the wire in, that you just crush?
Yeah.
And it like tease them together?
Yep.
I feel like that's probably what I did. I don't think I went to this extreme before. Truth be told, when I used the line out converter on the last setup, I only went to one speaker. This time, you know, if I have a song with a bass drop that goes from left to right, you're actually gonna hear it go from left to right on the subwoofer instead of before I basically spliced both into one. So I'm running a speaker wire across here to kind of hide it up through the little holes. You know, it's still very not pretty, but you know, it'll be a little bit better. If Colette's putting Victoria's Secret bags back here, it won't get snagged. Fun fact, back when I had subwoofers, never had a girlfriend. Is there a correlation? I don't know.
We'll see what happens once these are in.
Never in the entire ownership, no, not of this car, but when I had subwoofers, that was definitely a girlfriend blocker. Yeah, but now the girls like all the EDM and all Drake, right?
Yeah, sure.
What else do girls like?
Taylor Swift.
No, we don't speak that name on this channel, Michael. I'd say this is like way advanced for me back in the day. However, I used to do DirecTV home satellite installs with my dad. And very often, I don't think we had welding wire because my dad didn't know how to weld. We had some sort of wire though, so we were always fishing wire through the holes in the wall and setting up old people's remotes, you know?
Yeah.
Remember DirecTV?
Oh yeah.
It sucked.
I had on demand.
Yeah, I had cable. I'm right there, Michael. Right there. No one will ever see this.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Also, no one can hear me, but that's okay.
And probably no one can hear me either without been throwing this mic around. Ow, I'm not bleeding. Wish I knew these existed back then. Stripping wires with a set of dikes.
On your teeth.
My dad taught me how to strip wires like a real man. I would help him build coax cables. You know what that is? The little things that have like the hole in the center. Those were fun to make. He bought the connectors and he had like the crimping tool and we would, yeah, my dad was, you know, he used every part of the animal when it came to DirecTV. Started from scratch. We had a lot of, what was it, 3/8 wrenches. I think that was pretty much every bolt when you installed the satellite dish. Anyone that worked for DirecTV is probably having a nostalgia trip. 99% of the people don't even know what the I'm talking about. Next step, small modification for the ground cable. I'm just using all the factory chassis grounds to make life easy. Mike brought up a good point that I should probably test it first. I did buy this amp used and it is going to be a massive pain to access everything once I install it, just because of how I have it set up. So we'll do a quick test run and make sure she works before I mount it up. I feel pretty confident about everything. The only thing that I'm a little bit weirded out by is that remote turn on. I've never seen it before, so it's a little weird for me, but if it works, it works. All right, now if this works, I think when I turn the key on, does that send power to speakers? Is that how speakers work? Or do they only get it once I don't know. If the red light turns on, then we're good. You ready? You got anything? I didn't believe in it. I wonder if the speakers need to be on, like playing music. That'd be really weird and I wouldn't like that, but. So our quick ghetto fix, I'm just gonna jump power from the battery to the remote turn on. Maybe that thing just doesn't work. Now it should just turn on. I've come to realize that there's a component on this that although you would think would come pre-installed, dude, does not come installed with a fuse already. Well, the remote might have actually worked, so we'll try this again. Just in case you aren't familiar with like subwoofers or amplifier wiring, I'm gonna tell you it is the best entry-level thing you could possibly do when it comes to modifying a car. It is so simple. They make wiring kits to make the install easy. You pretty much just have like a ground, power, and some speaker wire, so it's hard to mess up, but it's like a good way to get your feet wet with something that doesn't really matter if it doesn't work well. Just use fuses so you don't blow your car down. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically taking the remote turn on. This is typically a 12-volt signal that would come from an ignition or something to just tell the amp, okay, time to turn on so it doesn't drain your power. I'm jumping it from the 12 volts just to ensure that the amp works and we have power. So now I can try the proper way using the thing that we don't know if it works or not because I think it's a gimmick, and we'll see if that works. And if it does, that would be really cool because I don't need to run a wire from somewhere in the car. All right, tell me if it's on.
Oh yeah.
It works?
Blue, white.
What the f? All right, tell me, does it turn off? Does it turn off?
Yup, red light off. You're good.
No way.
Yup.
No way. If only I could wire my scavenging pump for my turbo to do the same thing. That thing's so annoying. Because the turbo's so low on this car, you have to have a scavenge pump. Otherwise it won't drain back and oil will pool up on the turbo and then it starts to smoke.
So when do we start?
What?
This one.
Oh, look at my wiring. Can you tell me how my wiring looks? Is good? Quality?
Perfect.
We're about to test it and see if it works.
Oh.
You trying to bump? This thing's finna bump. Oh, baby.
No. Didn't we wham it on the table?
Mike, please put that in the video. It's been a while, okay?
Yeah.
Are you ready, dude? What is, back in the day, the Subwoofer test song was a Millie by Lil Wayne.
Yep.
That was the song. I would be worried, yeah, I'd be worried about copyright, but it's probably gonna blow everyone's eardrums out anyway. It might vibrate off the table, so be ready to put your hand here.
That's why I'm here.
Dangle your hair in front of me. That's what you, when you were cool back in the day, you'd have you put the girl's hair in your window and watch it go.
We need a bag of chips.
Yep.
Chips explode.
Yep. Oh no, it's not working. It's cutting out. What cuts it out again? Is that when the ground's not good? Yeah, something's not right. Is the gain turned all the way up? I wonder if that's, I don't know how to deal with the phase and all that stuff. It's way louder not in the car, huh? I think I was just having it too loud. That's pretty good, I think. I don't think it needs to be any louder than that. This was the craziest back in the day. I thought I'd be more amused.
I'm pretty amused.
It's gonna sound a lot better too with this in the car. Yeah. I wonder if what causes it to cut out if you're just reaching the max of the amp. They can't hear a thing I'm saying right now. Probably not. I should probably turn it off. So I did wire it the same way that I did before, where I have the wires kind of like laying over. I didn't want to cut into the factory battery tray when I was first installing it. You know, when you have a car, especially your first car, you never want to cut or modify anything.
Yeah.
So you try to do it without modifying stuff. And sure enough, wound up removing the subs, you would never known. But how I mounted it, I literally just screwed it into this trunk carpet and I'm gonna mount it the same way again.
Hey, it worked once, it'll work again.
Actually, no way. Oh my God. I think I might need to change my trunk carpet. Look, it's still there. You want to know the best part about it? I was gonna say I only did 2, but it looks like I did 4.
Yeah.
It's kind of a pain to change the trunk carpet, but the holes are already there.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I saved my trunk interior from this, so that's a piece from another car. I was planning to change it, but you think we should do it just to see if it lines up?
Yeah, I think so. You're like,
All right.
I love how it always smells like crayons.
Oh no, I broke the clip. All right, trade ya. I kind of remember, like very vaguely, I mean, you have to remember, this is over 10 years ago now. It drove me nuts that it like hung slightly crooked, but it is full authentic, exactly how it was mounted before, and even using the same holes. So that's pretty cool. I probably would have mounted it lower in retrospect, but I mean, I can't, I wanted to honor the install, and
Yep, you can't go back.
it's like more rigid than you think it would be for like hanging onto a trunk carpet that's not really supported by much.
Yeah.
Definitely not how you should mount an amp, but it was fine when I had it, and it'll be fine again. I did realize 2 things I left you guys hanging on in the last video. The chaser clutch, my little rig idea, actually worked amazingly. It's not perfect, but I would say it's like 80% better, so the clutch is almost exactly how I would want it. And I think we found what that noise was that clunked on the highway. I'll put the clip here in case you haven't seen it. I forgot how fast this car is.
Yeah, still fast. What was that?
I thought it came from this area because it sounded like it hit like the drive shaft or the downpipe. What'd you find, Owen?
So it's not this bolt right here. We leave this one out, but there's one on the very top.
I think it was just hand loose.
Yeah, it just, you know, backed out, you know.
That would make sense because it sounded like a ding 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 ding. There you have it.
Mystery solved.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be way worse, honestly.
It's not like on video. It sounded like you clipped a V-band.
Yeah. This is probably where all my back issues came from.
Taking your sub in and out
Probably.
1,000 times.
So the way that I have this rig, this is when I would put the wires in and out.
Oh.
Otherwise, you can't really access it once it's in the car. I will say, when I did this the first time, it was first try. It was not first try this time.
But that's not your fault. They just didn't put a fuse in the wire.
Yeah, but still, back then I was probably way more meticulous. Now I'm like overconfident. Back then you like have to read the forum posts like 8,000 times before you commit to doing anything because you're like, did I do it right? Did I void my warranty?
I still remember the first mod I did to my car, and I had to have my friend come help me do it.
Oh, it's okay. You want to hear the best one? Me and Jimmy installed Racelands on this.
Yeah.
And when they sold them, they didn't come with a strut top. Okay?
Yep.
So we,
I know.
we mounted it without a strut top. So it was just the spring just chilling there up against the strut tower.
Okay, well.
That's pretty bad. Me and Jimmy, I went to Jimmy to help me, and he supervised me, and that is what we did together. Jimmy Oaks. The world remembers. Owen's looking at me like, God, these guys were idiots.
Classic, at a red light, everyone annoyed.
What the heck? I just wanted to show that I still got Dynamat in there that I put in there to try to avoid the rattle. It didn't work. This whole car is gonna fall apart now.
Look up Sensei Blue Steel.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
So I can lower the bass down on the car now, and I can turn the bass up on there.
Oh, that's
all right?
sick.
So I lowered this down, so now I'm gonna use more bass from the sub. Let me go turn it up back there, and you tell me when it sounds good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It doesn't cut out anymore either.
There's rust falling out.
Oh, no! Look, another nut just fell out of my car. Okay, now I'm happy. This is so cool.
Yeah. Successful, nostalgic sub install.
That's good. I've got the punch turned down because the punch, I think, makes more rattles.
Yeah.
That was sick. We gotta do the thing. Remember back in the day, you'd see like the subwoofer reaction videos?
Yeah.
Taking my teacher for a ride in my subwoofer E46 sedan. I don't think anyone did that. I could do it.
You could be the first and the last.
Yep. To wrap this up, I'm gonna do one other mod that may have been the first thing that I did. I can't remember whether I installed the subs first or this. But as we look at the front of the car, you'll notice this is a replacement bumper. The one that was on it got cracked trailering the car once. So that's still gotta get painted. We're gonna repaint the hood too, but I'm hesitant right now to repaint the whole car. I wanted to do it, I wanted to make the car look perfect, but I've kind of enjoyed driving it around and it not being perfect because I don't care about getting scratched. It kind of still has a little bit of the nostalgia of it being kind of old and crusty, but my goal is to make everything that I feel, everything that I see inside the car feel brand new. But this is what I'm going to do now. So probably one of the favorite things I ever did to the car, install Angel Eyes. You take off these clear lenses, you put an LED ring here, and I think the car just looks a lot more modern, a lot cooler. Some people don't like them, they think they're ricey, but this car is Angel Eyes to me, so I'm gonna do it. And when I did it the first time, I left the headlights on the car and did it on the car, but given that my back is awful and I don't feel like putting in a lift right now, I'm gonna take the headlights off and I'm gonna do it on the counter, which might make it a little bit easier to see the process for you guys as well. And I don't know if it's gonna be different since these are technically like remanufactured headlights. They're not OE. I remember being so nervous to take these out the first time I did it. And that's why. I hate stuff that's not OE because the clips just, you look at them and they shatter. Is this one already broken too? Yep, they're both broken now. They're not broken, I'm just dumb. This piece is broken, so it's easy to remove. There's no tabs here like they're supposed to be. So on the car, I remember these tabs are really annoying to get to, so out of the car it's a little bit easier. Unlike a lot of headlights, these you can separate without needing to put them in the oven, which makes life a lot easier. Usually all the tabs break when you try to take them apart, so.
Yeah.
Man. Pretty nice, right?
That's so nice.
Look at that. And I think my old ones didn't have this painted black already, so I think I painted that black. That was another common mod back in the day. Now I'm gonna try to put this somewhere carefully so it doesn't get dirt inside of it, but got one already ready to go. The reason why I'm testing these is because, believe it or not, when I had my first set, some of the LEDs came like burnt out, so I wanted to make sure they work before I go through the effort of actually installing them. So that's one is good. Let's check number 2.
Heck yeah.
Good enough for me. Are you ready for how ridiculously easy this is? Just clip on. That's a problem though, huh? This doesn't look like the right size. Yeah, is right. Worthy mention, I'm not going to do this as much as I would like to. My E46 had some HIDs installed in the non-HID housings. Although it was amazing at night and I could see everything, I also blinded pretty much every person on the road. So it would be a very unethical decision for me to do as much as I would like it. We have a lot of street lights in Florida, so it's less necessary. I don't know how much room I'm working with back here, so I'm gonna kind of pre-install the headlight so I can see where I want it to go. Just now realizing that many tabs are broken on my car. Alas. The bummer thing is, I think I had all the wiring from the Angel Eye still in this car. Go back and watch the videos when I first got this car, because I'm pretty sure I cut it all out.
You did.
So the reason why I'm removing this is because if there's any power anywhere in those wires, we're probably gonna get some shorts.
And we only wear pants around here.
Yo, camera guy, chill with the jokes. I tapped into a wire in the fuse box. Look at me.
And you are.
I know. Yo, I don't even remember using a relay, but I guess I did. Kinda wanna leave this, make my life easier when I'm putting them back in, you feel me? And now I'm putting it all back in.
Yeah, I remember, because one of the halos still worked.
Oh, it still had them in the whole
Yeah.
headlights. Man, I just made so much work for nothing. Ooh, I don't have the piece that goes over here. This is where you normally would have hidden the wires. Why don't I have that? That should definitely be there. There's usually wires. This, what is this? Why is this not on?
That goes to the hood.
What?
That's definitely to like something in the hood.
There's no way. There's always wires that run across here. You need that. That's the thing for climate control. I wrapped the little box in black tape so it doesn't stand out as much. And then I'm basically using a little piece of 3M that should hold it in place down here. And then you kinda won't really be able to see much. As I'm going to install the powering wire for this, I think this is the old wire for it, which is ironic. Thankfully it's fused, just dangling in here. And then there's another hot wire that's just dangling in here. So I'm gonna take care of those and we'll run the new wire here. But I love that BMWs, everything is so easy to access. I don't know what this wire is for, but this is where I got my ignition source before. Look at how jacked up that wire is. But it's OG, so I'm gonna put the new wire in the same spot. Drum roll, please.
Hey!
Did it work?
Yeah,
They work. Hella bright. I'm stoked.
that
This
was
is my favorite thing
sick.
about the car. Just wait until the bumper's painted and the hood's back on. It's gonna look like a whole ass car. All right. Sub install is done, angel eyes are in, and I think that's where this video is going to wrap up. One thing I forgot to do earlier in this video is thank you guys for entering the R34 sweepstakes. We had a great Black Friday both at Drift HQ and LZMFG, and we appreciate the support greatly. Unlike previous giveaways, we are going to be able to announce the winner much sooner. Keep your eyes on the LZMFG Instagram because we'll be posting when we can announce the winner there, but I think it should be very soon. Next on the chopping block is another project with this car. I'm going to be diving into the interior and getting it, I don't want to give away too much, but it's gonna get a complete transformation. And I'll be reading the comments on this video, so let me know the stuff that you liked from this video, the stuff you didn't like, or maybe the stuff you'd like to see in the next ones, and I'll do my best to document it how you guys wanna see it. Thank you for watching, I'll see you soon.
They're actually like competition subs, so they hit really hard. I don't even like subs. I don't listen to rap music. I listen to lots of screamo, so it's kind of cool. You'll see me going by your house, and all you hear is the trunk going. So, and then they're like, "Oh, it's Adam," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's me."